What is going on, YouTube? Espresso Shucko here, and I thought it would be fun to bring Tyranitar to the Reg H ladder once again. And this time, instead of Excadrill, we have Houndstone joining Tyranitar here. Houndstone is also a Sand Rush user, which is going to be fun because Houndstone is the original Last Respects user, and man, we're going to try to have some fun here with Houndstone and Tyranitar here because the team is fairly questionable. That's one way of putting it. But we have Sneasler here, which is kind of frail. We have Grimmsnarl, which doesn't really have the most damage output. But the main idea here is the team is meant to fully support Tyranitar and Houndstone. Sneasler can come in and go for coaching into either Tyranitar or Houndstone. We can get a +1 attack and defense boost into them. And then as more Pokemon faint, Houndstone's Last Respects is going to go up in power. Now, one thing to be very aware of is Houndstone does not have the most HP here. At level 50, it only has 147. So, it's going to be here for a short time, but it's going to be here for a fun time at least. But anyways, yeah, Houndstone's going to do some decent damage. We have Terra Dark on here to get around Prankster status moves, specifically Prankster Thunder Wave. And it will also help us resist Sucker Punch, so we do have that. And as far as the Houndstone's moveset goes, we have Last Respects to just do some absolute insane damage late game. We have Will-O-Wisp for a little bit of support. If we decide we're going to go the Terra Flying route on Tyranitar, we have some speed control on Bulldoze. And the other thing here, too, is we have Superior on the team. Superior has the Assault Vest to boost up its special defense, and we have the Contrary ability. So if we have Houndstone and Superior on the field at the same time, and if Houndstone has its Sand Rush active, which I mean is possible because Tyranitar does have a 4x weakness to fighting, if we hit Superior with Bulldoze, we're actually going to get a speed boost, and then Superior can go for Leaf Storm as well. And the other thing here, too, is while Grimmsnarl does have the Reflect and Light Screen support, we also have Fake Tears on it so that we can boost up Superior's special defense and then just make this thing an absolute insane special wall, and it'll be eating attacks for days whether or not they are super effective, resisted, or neutral for that matter. Assault Vested +2 Superior tanks a lot of special attacks at the end of the day, and if we go for Fake Tears into our opponent, well, now we're just softening them up for a Leaf Storm to do some major damage. And plus, Leaf Storm will also boost up our special attack each time we use it, which means then we can take advantage of either Dragon Pulse or Terra Blast or even Giga Drain to do a lot of damage once Superior is boosted up. And DD has Follow Me support here. It also has a Rocky Helmet to give a little bit of chip damage to some physical attackers, especially Mousehold, if we do run into it. We have Follow Me to redirect away, as I did just mention. We have Helping Hand to boost up our damage output. And then we have Alluring Voice as a little bit of Fairy-type chip damage. And the idea there is it's a single target attack, as opposed to, say, Dazzling Gleam, which could be blocked by Wide Guard. So that is the logic right there. And then finally, we have Sneasler here with Terra Ghost to dodge Fake Outs. We have Close Combat to just annihilate things. We have Dire Claw to play the RNG roulette. And then we have Coaching here to boost up Houndstone and Tyranitar. With all that in mind, let's jump into some battles. Okay, we've got King Gambit, Murkrow, Baxcalibur, Hisuian Typhlosion, Torkoal, and Sneasler. Now, I could bring the Tyranitar, but I do have to be potentially weary of the odd Steel type attack off of the Gambit, which, I mean, it could be worse. I mean, I might luck out. I might get a Sword Stance Double Dark variant. So I don't honestly dislike that. The Typhlosion could be a little bit scary, but I mean, so long as I have my Sand, I should be alright. They don't really have a way of blocking priority, which is nice, so I could potentially bring Grimmsnarl for screens, which honestly I don't dislike that. Like, I could potentially do that. Yeah, I mean, Grimmsnarl could be nice. Grimmsnarl, Houndstone, Sneasler could be looking pretty solid. Like, I have Superior, but I mean, I don't really want to bring Superior in. I'm a little bit weary of the Sneasler for the Superior. Otherwise, I would just do that. But yeah, you know what? This might be okay. Yeah, because I could always set up screens. I mean, if they lead Torkoal Typhlosion, I can throw up a Light Screen. If they lead Sneasler, that's a little bit scary, but I mean, I could always protect Tyranitar and try to get up a screen with Grimmsnarl. So I could do something like that. I mean, if Grimmsnarl goes down quick, I mean, that powers up Last Respects. And then Last Respects can come in and do damage to a lot of things outside of the King Gambit. And I kind of want that King Gambit to be Flying Terra, not going to lie. So it's going to be Bax and Sneasler. Alright, so I am more than okay with this. If the Sneasler is not going for a close combat. Like, Tyranitar really does not want to go Terra Flying in front of the Bax, but it really does not want to go Terra Flying. Or, yeah, it doesn't want to go Terra Flying in front of the Bax, but it doesn't want to stay base in front of the Sneasler. So, that said, Flying Terra Blast might be nice into you. And I am going to Reflect in front of Tyranitar. I'm going to try to get Sneasler off the field. If they're sashed, great. Because the Sand Chip will knock them out. We also don't see a switch off my opponent, which is nice. So I will go Terra Flying in front of the Bax against my better judgment. And then I could just try to take advantage of my own Sneasler and just remove Baxcalibur or King Gambit. So they're just going to go close combat into Tyranitar, which makes me think they might not have went Icicle Spear. So they actually went Icicle Spear into Grimmsnarl. So yeah, okay. Close combat Icicle Spear would have covered for the Terra Flying or not Terra Flying, so I'm very okay with this. It's a lot of damage into Grimmsnarl, which I don't love. I mean, I also just took 5 hits of it. Yeah. I do get to hit the Sneasler with the Terra Blast, though. And we're just going to straight up knock it out. So no Sash, which means there's probably a Sash somewhere else. I might have to protect Tyranitar and switch Grim. Or I might have to switch Tyranitar and hope Grim just doesn't go down next turn. Both of which are terrible options for me. But, I mean, if I can slow down... If I can slow down that Baxcalibur, that could be nice too. King Gambit's a little bit terrifying, not going to lie. But, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to protect with Tyranitar here. And I'm going to Spirit Break into the Bax on the off chance now they try to take out Tyranitar with Baxcalibur. So, yeah, they went Icicle Spear into the Tyranitar, so the Protect is definitely the good idea right there. And Grimmsnarl is going to outspeed the King Gambit, so we're going to get some decent damage off in the Baxcalibur. So, they do have Iron Head, which I do need to be a little bit weary of for Grimmsnarl, but I could bring out my own potential Sneasler, but I kind of want to wait a little bit. Last Respects could be great for dealing with that Bax, so long as I can survive a Sucker Punch, which I don't think I necessarily can. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to Dire Claw with Sneasler into Bax, and I am going to... I'm going to Rock Slide just to get a little bit of chip, and I'm just going to try to get rid of the Baxcalibur here. The Baxcalibur could be a little bit sketchy, and honestly, this way too, this will cover for if the King Gambit potentially goes for Terrestrialization. Like, I definitely don't... Oh, even better. I do like the hard switch off the King Gambit. Okay, that's Hisui and Typhlosion, which, you know what, that's fine. I do like that I did go for the Rock Slide to get some potential damage, and the Dire Claw does cover for the Terra on the Baxcalibur, so that is nice. So it is Terra Ghost, so Dire Claw is not going to do a tremendous amount of damage, but if I get lucky and get either the Para or the Sleep off Dire Claw, that could be nice. Yeah, so anyways, we get the Poison Touch, so you know what, not great, but Bax is not going to appreciate this in the bare minimum, so we do take Icicle Spear into Tyranitar, and unfortunately this will be enough, but Hold on. No, it's not. Okay. Thank you, Tyranitar. All right. Tyranitar gets to pick up Baxcalibur with the Rock Slide. We get to connect into Typhlosion as well, so that's a lot of damage. So now if I can keep Sneasler around this turn, I'm okay. Yeah, okay. I lose Tyranitar, but I mean, Houndstone gets to come in here. I do have the Last Respects, which is nice. What I could potentially do is I could potentially Will-O-Wisp into the King Gambit. And my opponent has now burned their Terra, so it's not horrible. It's not great, but it's not horrible. Because if I can get the Will-O-Wisp off into the King Gambit, I don't have to worry about Sucker Punch necessarily. We have 2 more turns of Sand. I think I'm just going to protect Sneasler this turn, and I'm going to try to Will-O-Wisp into the King Gambit. If I land the Will-O-Wisp, great. Which I do get to connect, so now Houndstone has just rendered that essentially useless. Maybe. We are going to eat a Shadow Ball, but I mean, the Sand chip damage into Typhlosion is going to be nice. And King Gambit can't get any damage off into Sneasler, so they went for the Kowtow, which, you know what, that's great. If the Sand Chip is enough to get Typhlosion here, like, I think that's it. Yeah, that might be it. Okay, yeah, we just close combat in the King Gambit, and we go from there. So Houndstone getting the Will-O-Wisp is nice. I mean, I probably could have went for the Typhlosion with it, but I mean, that covered for the potential Sucker Punch. So Burn Sucker Punch does absolutely nothing to resisted Sneasler, so we are just going to nail this thing with a close combat. King Gambit was definitely the scariest thing to deal with right here, because, I mean, I didn't have a means of hitting it decently with Tyranitar, but I mean, at least we were able to get the close combat off at the end of the day, and we also got to burn it, so we just took absolutely no damage. So maybe what I probably could have did was I could have Dire Clawed the Typhlosion and then tried to Will-O-Wisp, but yeah, I was a little bit scared of maybe something happening that Typhlosion somehow could have hit the Sneasler. So yeah, because I had no way of knowing necessarily if that was Scarf or not. So, I mean, a Scarf Shadow Ball could have been really bad into Sneasler, which meant I wouldn't have been able to knock out the Gambit. So, I think at the end of the day, that's okay. Anyways, a good game to my opponent. Alright, we've got Ursaluna, Blood Moon, Sneasler, Pelipper, Dragonite, Archaludon, and Whimsicott. Okay, so not gonna lie, my own Sneasler looks really tempting here. Getting rid of the rain could be really nice. I mean, my Terra Ghost could be nice for dodging a potential extreme speed off the Dragonite. I am a little bit weary of a potential Scale Shot, though. But yeah, I think Sneasler could be okay here. Sneasler Grim might be okay. And then I do see potential Fake Out with their own Sneasler, but I mean, that should be alright. Dire Claw Close Combat looks really good into my opponent's team. I'm going to bring Houndstone, and I think I'm going to bring the Tyranitar here. Though Superior might not be bad. Yeah, Superior might not be bad. I think what I'm going to do, I'm going to go Superior Grim, Sneasler in the back, and I think I'm actually going to just bring the Tyranitar. I don't think Houndstone comes to this one. The Archaludon's going to be a bit of a problem, so I think Sneasler is going to definitely be really important for getting around that. Whether or not it's hitting them with a close combat or a Dire Claw, though, that's going to be the question. I mean, if they're Terra Grass, I Dire Claw them. If they don't Terra, I close combat. Ideally, what I kind of want to do is I kind of want to get Terra out of one of my other opponent's Pokemon. So it's going to be Sneasler Archaludon right out of the gate, which is not great for my Superior. Yeah, okay. Really not good. So I'm just gonna elect a Spirit Break into them, and I wish I had Scary Face on here, but I don't. Ironically, Houndstone would have been nice. I might just hard switch. Superior out, not gonna lie. Yeah, let's see here. What do they got in the rest of their team? That might be kind of nice for dealing with Blood Moon. Although I could just trust my own Sneasler here. I'm gonna give them Tyranitar. I'm gonna save Superior. I'm gonna bring out Tyranitar. They might just Dire Claw into Tyranitar. Which if they do, that's okay. I want to get the sand, and then this way this will break a sash. And then if I do get to hit them with Spirit Break, that's okay. I get parried. Not great, but silver lining here is if Grim gets to survive, I get to do a little bit of chip damage to them. Is this... Oh, it is Power Herb. Okay, that's good to know. Is that Tyranitar? Oh, that is Tyranitar. Okay, you know what? That's fine. Unfortunately, Grim is parried, though. Yeah, that's not the best, but, I mean... Okay. I can bring in my own Sneasler. I'm going to try to get up a Reflect just because I'm a little bit weary of their... Actually, I'm going to try to get up a Light Screen because I'm a little bit weary of their Sneasler. And I kind of want to Terra Flying, Terra Blast the Sneasler as well. I don't know if they well, they probably wouldn't go for another Electroshot unless they brought Pelipper. But the nice thing here, too, is because they did reveal the Power Herb, at least I know they're not Assault Vested. So I could try to get some damage off into them with Dragon Pulse. So maybe we're okay here. I do get to get my Light Screen up. They went close combat into Tyranitar. I just need to hope that our Chaladon didn't. I mean, they probably did. Oh, interesting. My Tyranitar is actually moving before them, so that's good to know. So we'll get to hit the Sneasler, and we'll knock them out. I have my own Sneasler to do some decent damage to them. Yeah, okay. I'm going to lose both of these Pokemon here, unfortunately, but, I mean, getting their Sneasler off the field is very, very important. And if they have Pelipper and they bring in the rain for me, that's not bad either. Yeah, it's not bad for me if they switch the sand over to rain. So yeah, they know I have the Superior, and I do have my Sneasler too, so you know what? It is what it is. This makes me think... Oh, no, it's Pelipper, okay. I was almost expecting Dragonite there, but you know what? That works out just fine. They can Electroshot if they want, which is not ideal for me. They could also Hurricane, which is also not ideal for me. I want to Leaf Storm the Pelipper, and I also want to Dire Claw. I'm going to leave the Archaludon alone for just this one turn because I'm genuinely scared of a Hurricane connecting into either of these Pokemon. So I want to get the Pelipper off the field. And if they Terra Grass, then I can just Dire Claw. And if they don't Terra Grass and they just stay as is, I mean, I can close combat. So no Terra coming out of them yet. We poison the Pelipper. More importantly, though, we do break a potential Focus Sash with the Dire Claw, and unfortunately we don't knock them out, which is a little bit concerning. Now, I do have the Assault Vest on Superior, so maybe they attack into Sneasler, which I kind of... No, they attack into Superior. Okay, that said, I do get to live, which is nice. So, I'm going to Dragon Pulse you, and I am going to... I think I'm going to close combat. The nice thing here, too, is I do have my Focus Sash intact. Yeah. Sneasler is also faster than Superior, so if they don't Terrasilize our Chaladon, I might pick up the knockout with close combat. No, I don't knock them out, but I do get to hit them with the Dragon Pulse, and that'll get rid of our Chaladon. Good to know that they were Stamina with the Power Herb too. We get them off the field, and if they went for Sneasler, Sneasler gets to live this turn, which is really nice. No, they go for Superior again, so you know what, that's fine. So. Do they survive this turn? They do, okay. A 1v1 for Sneasler would not be ideal, but I mean, I might be okay here. Ooh, it's Dragonite, though. Yeah, that's not good. I'm going to protect Sneasler here. I'm going to have to bank on Dire Claw. Yeah, I am going to have to bank on Dire Claw in shenanigans. Is it degenerate? Yes. Is it a win con? Yes. Unfortunately, I do have to stick to it. They might go for Scale Shot instead of Extreme Speed, depending on if this is multi-scale or not. If it's multi-scale, I mean, that's terrifying. But, I mean, Scale Shot is okay if it misses. Yeah. I am at -1 defense, which is not great. Kind of wish I had Superior survive. Like, Giga Drain would have been really nice, but, I mean, getting rid of our Chaladon is the big thing. Getting rid of Pelipper is nice here, too, so... Scale Shot is 90 accuracy. It can miss. Unfortunately, though, I have a bad feeling it's going to connect. Just because I know I need it to land. So we're going to go Dire Claw. Oh, we actually outspeed them. Okay. Sleep? Nope. And they do hit me. Okay, yeah. Unfortunately, that's going to be game. Oh, I'm dying a little inside. Yeah, I am dying a little bit. But you know what? All things considered... I think it was an alright game. Like, I did not have a good matchup at all into the Archaladon. My opponent led Archaladon Sneasler. I also did not have a good matchup into Sneasler. We took out both of them, which is nice. Superior also got to take a Hurricane and a Dragon Pulse. So, I mean, that was nice. Yeah, I mean... That match could have gone so much worse against me than it did. So, overall... I'm okay with how that worked out. Good game to my opponent. Alright, we've got Amoonguss, Pelipper, Primarina, Armarouge, Indeedee, and Incineroar. Okay, so honestly, this is a team that Tyranitar really looks like it's going to appreciate. Because we do have the Rock Slide to hit Incineroar and Armarouge with. We also have Knockoff to hit the Amoonguss with. We also have the Terra Flying to hit it with, which is the more important thing. So yeah, alright. I kind of like this. I kind of like this a lot, not going to lie. I think... Let's see what my speed stat is here. I'm pretty sure it's lower than a min speed. Ooh. We're 116 speed on this Tyranitar. Okay. So if that's max speed Pelipper, we're okay. I think what I'm going to do... I'm going to bring Sneasler. And I think... I'm going to bring my Superior, potentially. Actually, I think I'm going to bring Sneasler Grim. Neither one of these Pokemon love being hit with a Fake Out, but I mean, it's okay, because I can always get a screen up. Actually, I think I'm going to lead Sneasler Houndstone. I'm going to bring Tyranitar in the back. And... A lot of these Pokemon are special attackers, so I think Light Screen is going to be really nice. Yeah. I do like this, and then what I could potentially do is I could go for a Coaching into Houndstone. I could also go Coaching and switch in Tyranitar. And then if I lose my Sneasler, I mean, Houndstone can come back in and have Sand speeding it up. So we could do something like that. It's going to be Armarouge and Pelipper right out of the gate, so you know what, that's fine. Okay. Sneasler really does not like the Psychic-type damage that could be coming out of that Armarouge. It also doesn't like the Hurricane, so switching in Tyranitar might not be the worst case scenario here. I could also go Coaching into the Houndstone slot and just switch in Tyranitar here. I don't really dislike this, and then that way I'll undo the rain, I'll get up sand. If Sneasler goes down quickly, I don't dislike getting the +1 to my attack and defense. Armor is just going to protect right there, which is okay. Getting coaching off into Tyranitar is okay if they went for a blind Hurricane, which wouldn't have been blind in the rain. I might be okay here. They're actually going to go for Tailwind off of the Pelipper. Okay. Knockoff doesn't look bad here. Knockoff doesn't look bad at all. And neither does Dire Claw for that matter. So I think what I'm going to do is I'll go Terra Flying with Tyranitar because they might have Energy Ball. And I think... let's take a quick look at this right here. Yeah, Terra Flying might be nice, but I think what I can get away with is I can just get away with a knockoff on the off chance they do have the Wide Guard. Yeah, because I think a Psychic type attack comes out of... oh, never mind. Armor is just going to switch out. Okay, you know what? I really like this. If Sneasler goes down here, I do get to get in Houndstone again, and I do get to have my Psychic Seed activated, which isn't bad. Knockoff into Indeedee would have been really nice here, but I mean, that's okay. Sneasler's going down. I now have a boosted Last Respects, and Knockoff is going to do a lot of damage to that Pelipper, which is nice. Yeah, Pelipper is just gone. Houndstone is going to get to double speed as well. I'm going to get a special defense boost, which I do really like. And I really like the idea of going Bulldoze Knockoff into Indeedee. Now, I mean, if they have Expanding Force, I mean, that could be bad, but it's going to be Primarina coming in instead. So what I could do here is I could Bulldoze and Knockoff to get the speed control. Actually, I think what I can do here is I think I could justify just going Knockoff into Indeedee. Yeah, I think I could just do that. And then this way too. I mean, I could have gone Terra Flying and Bulldoze with Rock Slide, but I mean, this is okay too. Terra Water Primarina, so this might hurt a little bit, but I mean, I should be okay. Tyranitar probably wouldn't outspeed with the Bulldoze, though, like, with the Bulldoze supporting it, because of the Tailwind. But, I mean, we're just going to get Helping Hand, or not Helping Hand, Follow Me. I mean, technically that hand animation could be a Helping Hand, because it is redirecting away moves, but, I mean, with the Sand boosting up Tyranitar's special defense, I might... yeah, I live with 31 HP. That's not a lot, but, I mean, I can cope with that. I do like that Houndstone gets to live, which is nice. Yeah. Houndstone getting to live there is really nice. We saw the Armouge has Protect. I would not be surprised if the Primarina did as well. Let's see here. I have Grim in the back. How many turns of Sand do I have left, and how many turns of Tailwind do they have? This is their last turn of Tailwind. I'm fairly certain I can live this. Yeah, I think I can live this. We're going to protect Tyranitar. We're going to switch out Houndstone. And then this way, their Tailwind is definitely gone. And then that way, too. I don't mind getting up a screen. Specifically a light screen. And then this way, too. I mean, if Tyranitar goes down next turn, that's fine. There's the Expanding Force, which, I mean, Houndstone is going to get to live. And Tyranitar going for Protect is fine. Yeah, Grimmsnarl gets to live because of its Dark typing, and then Tyranitar just gets to dodge the Hyper Voice too, which is nice. So, what I could do to help my Houndstone is I could save my Terra Dark for it. And then that way I could just Last Respects the Armarouge. So yeah, we do have that. I'm going to get my light screen up. Tyranitar is going to go down here, which honestly, I don't really care about that too much. I'm going to Rock Slide as well too, because we did see that they have the Tailwind support. So, I mean, Armarouge might be fast, but I mean, on the off chance that they're just playing with Trick Room in mind as well too, because of the Amoonguss, like, I mean, I might be alright. I'm actually going to get to keep Grimmsnarl here. Or not keep Grimmsnarl. No, I lied. I get to keep Grimmsnarl too. I meant to say Tyranitar. Okay. I do love that they lower their own defense, which is nice. So we do get to land the Rock Slide and connect into the Armarouge. And I now have the light screen support, so that is going to help a little bit. Not a whole lot. But I mean, Houndstone's going to have the best Last Respects left now. You know what? I'm going to pivot in Houndstone. I'm going to pivot it in because I do have the light screen up. I have no problem with Grimmsnarl going down. And I think Houndstone should be okay to live this with the light screen. And then that way, too, I just have my speed control when Tyranitar comes back in. And Grimm is actually faster than Primarina, so the Spirit Break is definitely going to ensure that Houndstone is okay here. Barring a critical hit, now that I've willed that into existence. But yeah, we only take 47 damage. So Houndstone's okay here. Grimmsnarl's going to go down, and Tyranitar can come back in here. We can get the Sandstorm back up. We can definitely preserve our speed, and now Last Respects is going to do a lot of damage, which is going to be relatively fun. So we can go for the Rock Slide here, and just because I can, and I want to see the Terra animation, we're going to go Terra Dark. So yeah, anyways, I'm going to get my Terra Dark off. Not that it really matters for Houndstone, because it's not going to benefit the special attack, but I mean, just look at that. We got that crystallized Skeledog right there. So, yeah, okay. Let's just get our Last Respects off right there, and boom. All right. Primarina goes down there. Houndstone had a base 150 Last Respects right there with the speed advantage. I think we were good there. But I kind of like how the Dark Terra gem is coming right out of the tombstone on its head. Like, that is kind of fun. So, yeah. That Armarouge had the potential to... Well, it did scare me if it had Energy Ball, but I'm glad that I was able to get the light screen up and just take that Armor Cannon with Grimmsnarl. I genuinely was expecting, even with the light screen, for it to go down. But yeah, that just kind of worked out, that we got to take out Armarouge with Tyranitar, hit it with the Rock Slide, and Primarina went for Protect. I was honestly expecting a Hyper Voice there. And if it had hit me with a Hyper Voice, I probably would have lost both of them, meaning Houndstone would have had a 2v1. Which, yeah, that would have been really bad. But anyways, we pulled it out in the end. That is all that matters. Good game to my opponent. Hey, thank you guys so much for checking out this Tyranitar and Houndstone team in action. And I don't know about you guys, but I definitely felt my blood pressure rising a little bit during some of these games here. We had to make some bold decisions, that's a nice way of putting it, for sure, to get around some of these matches here. Like, we had to go Terra Flying Tyranitar in the face of a Baxcalibur, which is never a fun feeling, but it worked out, seeing as the alternative would have been a 4-time super effective close combat into my Tyranitar. Thankfully, we were able to just straight up knock out the Sneasler with our Flying Terra Blast, while the Baxcalibur went for Icicle Spear into Grimmsnarl instead. And then we were in a really awkward situation where we had to have King Gambit versus Houndstone. Thankfully, we were able to burn the King Gambit with the Will-O-Wisp, rendering it essentially useless for our own Sneasler to take out the King Gambit later on. And it was kind of nice here too, because while my opponent did have the King Gambit on the field in front of Sneasler, they hard swapped into Hisui and Typhlosion, and Baxcalibur was unable to pick up Tyranitar with the Icicle Spear, despite being a flying type, we were able to hit them with a rock slide, knocking out the Baxcalibur after it had already taken some damage from Tyranitar's partners, and we were able to render most of Typhlosion's HP useless because we hit them with that rock slide, and thus the Sandstorm chip was able to take out the Typhlosion, allowing Sneasler to finish off the King Gambit safely. And then we also ended up playing up against Archaludon and Sneasler as a lead into my Superior and Grimmsnarl, which was just not the greatest matchup for us. So I did have to switch out Superior, but ironically enough, Superior is actually kind of the one that popped off during that match. Once we got rid of the opposing Sneasler, Superior was able to do some decent damage to the Pelipper with its Leaf Storm. And on top of that, we were able to finish off the weakened Archaludon with a Dragon Pulse after our own Sneasler brought it down to the red. Unfortunately, we ended up having a one-on-one matchup between Scale Shot Dragonite and Sneasler, who was already at -1 physical defense. So unfortunately, we didn't pick up any RNG off of the Dire Claw, and thus the Scale Shot was able to finish off Sneasler. But overall, it was a fairly close match at the end of the day, which honestly, I said it at the end of that match too. I did not have a great matchup into that, so the fact that it boiled down to just Dragonite, I'm pretty happy with. And then finally, our third game, we ended up playing up against Pelipper, Indeedee, Armarouge, and Primarina with some Tailwind. And fortunately for us, we were able to get Pelipper off of the field relatively quickly. Tyranitar was able to go for some big damage with knockoff. We finished off the Pelipper. We also ended up finishing off the Indeedee, and the end game there ended up boiling down to being Houndstone with Last Respects. We finally got to pull off the Last Respects there, and Tyranitar, which we switched Tyranitar out so that we could preserve our Sand Rush. And then when Tyranitar came back in and reactivated the sand for Houndstone, we were able to finish off the Primarina with the Last Respects. And honestly, it was kind of nice too that we got the Armarouge off the field when we did, but if we hadn't have knocked it out, we did have the Terra Dark to get around the expanding force on it, which ultimately kind of worked out too, that we were able to have Tyranitar and Grimmsnarl on the field at the same time as the expanding force came out, since that was considered null and void at that point. Anyways, let me know what you think of the team down in the comments below. Let me know if you also had some stress watching this match or these matches. And yeah, if there's any Pokemon you want to see between now and the end of Reg H, definitely comment it, and I will see what I can come up with. Anyways, see you later.